I've been watching this cyclone that's hitting Australia, and it sounds like it was worse than Katrina. And I can't really find too much information on this so far, but I did find one link I'll put below that apparently there was no death. It came and went, and there was no death. And on the video, there was this response from somebody in Queensland. It was pure preparation. We Queenslanders are used to being fucked by nature. We're smart. We listen to emergency services. There was no miracle involved. If you want to add a theist spin on the whole deal, think of it this way. God sent the cyclone to us, and we beat him. Queensland 1, God 0. um, Queensland 1, God 0, not too sure about that one. What I see is hell showed up and God won. And this is what's going to happen, like this 2012 experience, this hell that's about to come. I mean, big black hole, event horizon, all of this. It is being awake. If we're awake to a bigger picture, if we pay attention to a few warning signs, listen to each other, as to, okay, how do we overcome this? How do we prepare? We don't have that much time, but if we actually listen to things that make sense, proper preparation of the mind, there's nothing that will kill anybody on this planet. Nobody needs to die. The problem is a lot of us think that we know what the hell we're talking about, and a hell of us don't know anything of what we're talking about. And even I will admit I'm 50% right and 50% wrong. And that's where every single one of us have to be, is we all have to understand that if you know without a doubt what's going on, then you're only 50% right and 50% wrong. And it's the combination of us all together. Everybody that thinks that they know what the answers are need to sit down and have that little conversation with the mindset that I'm 50% wrong. And I'm at that table to find out exactly what's right by getting rid of all the contradictions. I'm seeing so many people that say, oh, there's aliens and that we need to evolve, and I see so much of a twisted mindset there, but yet I see 50% is correct, but I see 50% that's wrong. And these other concepts that are out there that are different than mine, they have zero interest in communicating with me. They're right no matter what, which causes conflict, which means we're all going to hell. Even the ones that think they're saved, they're going to hell because they're not prepared, because they're missing information, because they're 50% wrong, because they haven't heard my side of it. And not to say that my side is 100% right. It means that you need my piece of the puzzle, because I'm seeing a different picture than you. And why would I see a different picture than you? Why would you have a conversation with God and feel you're connected and you've been given this message to give? If I've had that same experience that God's telling me what to do too, why would my message be totally different than your message? Something's going on there. And ultimately, it's our freaking egos that make us think that we're 100% right all the time. And that is dead wrong. That's where all of our problems are. Is as soon as you think you know it all, that's when you know shit. But as soon as you realize that, okay, I only know 50% of everything, and I'm 50% wrong of everything, and I want to connect with the rest of the globe to find out, okay, pick out my contradiction. Let's try and gain some understanding of what the hell's going on. But are we there yet? Are we awake to that one yet? Who knows? But that's where we need to be, is understand we're 50% right and 50% wrong. And this was an example. This cyclone was an example of bad shit can happen, but it doesn't have to kill you. Something else is going on other than, like, to be prepared means you kind of had a few experiences in your life and knew that you survived from it. You kind of are able to communicate with each other and kind of have an understanding of what truth is and what isn't and how to save yourself. and actually following through on how to save yourself. So I'm going to assume somebody might have died, because I don't know that we communicate exactly that perfectly yet. There are some people that have a death wish and would have stayed right in the line of fire just to say, oh, I didn't kill myself, it was God, it was nature that killed myself. But no, if you put yourself on the road of a big train coming to hit you, you're killing yourself. So it was a good example of what we need to do. There is nothing to fear. It just, in our future, in the next few years, especially within the next few months, we need to be very, very calm, and we really need to learn how to communicate with each other pretty darn fast before we learn this ability to communicate. I mean, the internet's going to be down soon, so how the hell are we going to communicate with everybody if we don't get on board with this really, really fast? But if we don't, being calm is the way to go. And one of the biggest things that open up your awareness to the quantum world, because the quantum world is exactly like the big world. Every cell, what makes up the tiniest part of a cell, is exactly the same thing in our universe. It's doing the exact same thing. So time is the distance between the quantum world and the universal world. It's time. It's the recognition that, oh, what's happening out there is the same thing that's happening inside me. If I want to change what's out there, all I have to do is change what's inside me. So, on the quantum world, no particles are touching each other. There's massive space. There's universal spaces in between each particle. Nothing's actually touching each other, although it seems solid. So, your mind is what makes something solid. Just change your mind and make everything fluid, and that you can pass through any harm and be saved as long as you have no fear, as long as your visualization skills and your belief systems are all perfect. You can actually, the potential of us, but you really have to let go of a hell of a lot of belief systems, and I ain't there yet. But I know the potential is there. But if you can visualize, a rock coming at you and it just completely dissolving before it hits you, all of the particles that make up a rock are split away. You actually can do that. Not to say that I can yet, but humans have that capability. We only use a very, very small percentage of our potential. We know that in science, that a lot of our brains are sort of dormant. But first of all, you have to sort of know that you have that potential first, which I'm introducing the concept that, hey, if all of this is true, if all of our sciences that we've come to believe is like 50% true, then this aspect of ourselves is true, that we create our realities. We form particles together to make forms, to make objects, and within time, the distance of time creates, a chair. And it can happen very, very instantly and very, very fast without time, if you can put yourself in the bigness first instead of the smallness first. But it's got to start with the smallness and know without a doubt it affects the bigness instantly. It's just the time for you to comprehend that. How long is it going to take you for you to understand that your smallness creates the bigness? And it can happen really, really fast without time, which is why 2012 will be the end of time, because you'll know that you create reality instantly. The only distance in creation is your lack of comprehension of how to create something. You just don't know how to create it, so you're in process of learning and gaining the information over time to understand how to create whatever it is you want to create. But if you knew that you created instantly and you had faith and trust in everything, then you have the potential to make a massive shift instantly. And globally, that's what we need to do. Learn our powers, because we can make a massive shift. Nothing is touching each other. They're just particles with universal distance between each other. And we can make that distance a little further away or closer together and make it more solid. It all depends on what we want. And I suggest we make everything a little bit more fluid if we're going to survive. Peace out.